Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica, and I'll be moderating the webinar today. Thank you for joining us. It's my pleasure to introduce you to co-founder and CEO Michael Miller and Leslie Kolleda, VP of Agency Growth and Development here at Brightway Insurance.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. And welcome, everybody. We're glad you're here. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us while we go over what Brightway offers. So what I wanted to cover today was a little bit of overview of who we are and where we are today, what we do offer, and we do have two new models that we want to cover today with you. We want to take your questions as we go along, and I'll get to those instructions in a second. So we want to make sure that everything that we cover today is giving you the path to achieve your financial dream. Okay, so to ask a question, look at your screen. It looks something like what the slide you're looking at right now. Look for the Q&A section and type your question in. What we'll do is take all the questions at the end, and if we don't get to your questions, no worries. We're going to recap this webinar in an email following the webinar, and you're going to get your questions answered in that email as well. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Michael, who's going to bring us up to speed on who Brightway is.
Thank you, Leslie. So first of all, thank you for joining the webinar. I'm excited to talk about really Brightway and what is, my life and my family's life and what we've done so far. So, when my brother and I started Brightway back in '08, we really had an idea to change the way insurance was distributed and to really create what we're now the leader of, which is insurance retailing. And so when I talk about insurance retailing, what I'm talking about is that in the Brightway model, we came up with the concept of empowering local agents to really build organizations and focus on the sales side of the business, while we at the home office were able to take care of everything else. That would include, obviously the traditional service of all the customers that we would write, but really the support of our business partners and franchisees. So that was back in '08. And, that whole concept of, centralizing the service and allowing, local agents to build those relationships. When I remember the day when we turned on our service center, at the end of that week, when we pulled the report, I thought it was actually wrong because the sales in all of the offices that we had prior to that turning on the service center doubled or tripled overnight. And we knew at that moment we had something special. And from that moment on, that's really guided us going forward.
Great. I love that story because every single year we compare our agents' production to the Big I Best Practices study, if you're familiar with that in the industry. And every single year we bear out exactly what Michael and David figured out in that first week. Our producers are able to outsell other agents in the country 2 to 1 because of the holistic business support we offer. So let me tell you where that's brought us today. So today, Brightway has over 200 locations in 21 states. We're one of the largest personal lines agencies in the country. We're led by a group of our executive team has an average of 30 years experience in insurance and in franchising. So you're in very good hands there. And it's great to be part of a franchise system that's growing so quickly and that is helping people achieve their dreams. But don't take my word for it. We've been recognized by lots of third parties, most notably by Forbes in 2015 as the best franchise to buy in the country in any category. So that's among all franchisors rather. And most recently, we've been named the #1 insurance franchise for the 2nd time in a row by Entrepreneur Magazine. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the 3 models we offered today, and then Michael's going to elaborate on them. So the idea was really to bring in as many potential candidates as possible. So earlier in the year, we introduced 2 additional models, and we're going to get to those in a minute. But first, I want Michael to talk about our company culture.
Well, thank you, Leslie. So for David and I, at the very beginning, when we knew we wanted to build something special, we really did some soul searching, and we started from a place of culture. And so everything that we do at Brightway, that might be our organizational structure, the tools we have, the contracts, the way we do business, everything we do comes from this concept of alignment. And that is our culture. At Brightway, I would say it's our secret sauce, is our commitment and dedication to always think about what we do and how it's going to affect not only the consumer, but our franchisees, our business partners. And the only way Brightway reaches our potential is when everyone associated with our company reaches their individual potential. That is a secret sauce. And so I can tell you, and probably many of you who are watching today, you work for companies that every day make decisions that might be good for the bottom line of the company, but not necessarily in your best interest or help you, put food on the table. And for us, our whole business models, the idea of that is to reverse it and say, it's got to be great for the consumer. It's got to be fantastic for our business partners. And when it is, what's left over is good enough. And that's really, I think, to me, the secret sauce. And we are a family business. So David and I and our family, we own the entire business. This is our family farm. And I think one of the things that attracts a lot of people to Brightway is that they want the American dream. They want that family farm for themselves. They want the ability to build something special, be a real stakeholder in the community, and then be able to pass that on to their children. I think I'm so proud that we have been able to do that and help so many families around the country, really achieve that.
I look at some of the photos on this slide of our home office staff. We have 240 people here in the home office, and them enjoying themselves at work. And one of the big enjoyments they get out of work is knowing that they're here to support you. Without you, we don't exist. They see that line of sight very, very clearly, and they take that responsibility very seriously every day. So on to our models. Like I said earlier, we introduced 2 new models just earlier this year, and we're going to talk through each one of them and the features and benefits of each. So Michael, take it away.
Thank you. So first I want to talk about the retail agency franchise, and this is really our flagship offering. This is the Brightway stores that you've seen around the country that we have been opening and supporting now for over a decade. So in the retail agency franchise, just like any franchise would, it starts with an upfront cost to join the system, and it's a franchise fee. So in retail agency, the upfront franchise fee is $60,000. And the ongoing commission splits that you will earn by being in this model is 85% on new and 55% on renewal commission. So one of the things that's unique about this retail agency model as far as revenue is that we have a special program that we call Horizons that allows our franchisees to actually earn up to 100% of new business commissions, which is just fantastic. At the end of the day, we view that as a way, David and I and Brightway, to reinvest in our best franchisees who are really, committing to grow their business. And we said, where better to invest our money than in our franchisees and our partners. So in retail agency, you will be owning and operating an actual retail Brightway store. So you will operate out of a traditional retail space. When you buy this model, you're actually being awarded the rights to your first 2 locations, which is really exciting. So this is retail agency. Now, one of the things that's unique about the retail agency model is the staffing. So all of our retail agency franchise owners have a minimum of 3 people in their store, but many of them grow this operation. So really, the retail agency is designed for people who have experience building teams and really wanting to run a sales organization. And so as a matter of fact, currently over half of our franchisees in retail agency had no insurance experience at all. And that's fine. With the level of support we have and training and tools, there has been no correlation to what's possible based on that past experience. And so again, that's retail agency. So one of the new franchise models that we have started is the office agent franchise. So this is really designed for someone who wants to be their own boss, who wants that American dream, but maybe they either don't have all the capital that's going to be necessary to buy the retail agency, or maybe they're just not willing to take as big of a step and make that financial commitment to do that. They'd want to start a little smaller and grow into it potentially. So as an office agent franchisee of Brightway, you will not be operating out of a retail store. You're going to be operating your business out of just a professional office setting. This could be an office suite you rent. A number of our office agents have decided to co-locate in a potential referral source. I think it's great. So in this office agent franchise, the idea was that we wanted to, again, remove some of those financial barriers. And so the first barrier that we have removed or reduced is the franchise fee. To buy the office agent franchise, the franchise fee is $30,000, and you're being awarded 1 location. So again, this location will be in a professional office setting. The staffing is also scaled down. So you're able to operate this franchise either by yourself or you and an additional employee. So it's at least 1 person, obviously, but up to 2 people can operate in this franchise model. The commission split on office agent is 80% on new and 50% on renewal. And so what's nice about this program is that it allows someone to get in with, obviously not only less money up front, but it reduces that ongoing cost because of the reduction of staff and the reduction of rent that you're probably going to have paid in a traditional store. With that being said, it allows you to build up that cash flow, build your renewal book, and if you so want to grow a bigger team and so on, you can then migrate from the office agent into the retail agency opportunity. The commissions go up, the Horizons program, I mean, all those things are possible. So that's office agent. The other program that we started is not a franchise at all. It is a commission share short-term program. It's called the Independent Agent Program. And it's really designed for people that come to the table with actual property and casualty sales experience. And so, again, the reason we have done these other programs, because we felt that, you know what, there are probably a lot of people who would be good franchisees. Either they didn't have the capital, or maybe they didn't have the experience to get going. And so we wanted to kind of broaden how people could join Brightway, but without really changing what's possible. So let's talk about that independent agent program a little more. So for people who have insurance experience, this is a way to not only prove to us, but prove to yourself that this is a good fit for you. There's no upfront costs. There are no ongoing costs to be in the system. So again, the only type of expense you'll have is obviously in this business, you need E&O insurance. So that's the only expense in this program you'll bear on your end is a short-term E&O policy. And this program is designed for you to start selling insurance as a Brightway agent. It can even be right out of the convenience of your own home, so no rent, no bills, not even any pass-through costs of systems or tools or the things that are obviously typical expenses of all the other franchise models we have. It allows you to really think of this as a transition. So when someone wants to start their own business, they're not only spending the money to get started and so on, they're giving up the income they had. And so we said, you know what, we need to create a program that helps someone bridge that gap between leaving and becoming profitable. So in a business, when you're able to generate revenue from day one and you have no expenses, it's actually the profit happens basically immediately. And so this program is designed for you to bridge that gap. It allows you to prove to yourself that this is a good fit, that you are able to do a good job, make your phone ring, and start building a book of business. This program, the commission splits are 50% on new, 50% on renewal. And so once you qualify through production and good quality, then you will be awarded the opportunity to buy the office agent franchise. And because you've proven yourself in this no cost option, we will provide an option of financing that $30,000 for you. And so really, we just see this as a great way to empower amazing people that have experience, let them prove themselves to us, to make sure they're running good quality business. Let you prove it to yourself that you can make this work, and without having taken massive risk. And so we've been offering these programs since January, and I mean it's been so well received. We're opening offices all over the country, and it's just been amazing.
Great. So on your screen right now, you can see a side-by-side comparison of the three models. So Michael, talk us through this really briefly.
Yeah, so when you think about the three different models we have, I think the big takeaway is that I don't want you to think that what's possible is different in any of them. Think of it as just, where do I want to get started? So if someone had the money and they were willing to invest and start bigger, then of course you buy the retail agency. Because the revenue is higher, the potential commission splits are higher, and so on. But what's nice is I am so excited to help invest in people, let them get started wherever seems right for them, and the sky's the limit. So someone could start as an independent agent, qualify for the financing, buy the office agent franchise. Again, they can either stay at that level and be their own boss, that's fine, or they can decide to grow into the retail agency, move into a storefront, earn the higher commissions, build a bigger team. And we've had a number of people who've been with us that have gone from that retail agency and started opening additional locations. And they're building what we call an actual enterprise. And so I just love that here at Brightway, everything is about the culture and empowerment and alignment. And these models speak to it. We're committed to empowering people, to helping them reach their potential. And when they do, it's great for Brightway.
Great. Well, before we get to your questions, I only have one question for you, and that is, where do you want to start? So as soon as we get done finishing questions, I'm going to let you know how to get started with Brightway so that a franchise consultant can be in touch with you. So Jessica, do we have any questions?
We do. So our first question, what's the advantage of starting as a retail agency owner?
Yeah, so, and I kind of actually, a good question. I alluded to it a little bit. If you're a person who obviously has the wherewithal to do it, and you have experience building and managing team and sales and all of that, because then it allows you to grow much faster, much quicker. And so I would say when you look at that ROI, it is a higher investment, but the return on investment is much higher. And so I would say, it's a fantastic model. The way we support our agents has been great, and the actual results they've achieved has been really second to none, and that's probably why we've garnered so much of the accolades we have.
Yeah, so a couple of additional benefits is obviously the opportunity to open your second location with no additional franchise fee. The higher commission Michael spoke about earlier, the base is on new is 85, but in retail agency you have the opportunity to earn 100. And then the opportunity to open more stores and share the work between the stores in a very unique way.
Right.
Great. Our next question, what kind of complementary business could I co-locate with in the office agent program?
Yeah, so honestly, the sky is almost the limit on that. Obviously, we wouldn't want you to co-locate in some kind of a business that there's a direct conflict of interest. That wouldn't work. But I view it as I'm excited to see the creative minds of our business partners and come up with even amazing opportunities for themselves. I mean, I think the no-brainer is to co-locate with mortgage brokers, realtors, closing attorneys, who are referral sources of Brightways all over the country. It could be an office suite. It could be, again, the sky's the limit. Any professional office setting is fine for that business.
Great. What sort of training can I expect for each model?
Great. For an OA and an RA, you would come into Jacksonville and go through an in-person workshop as well as a future training. So you're back here 2 times after you get to meet with us the first time. As a matter of fact, we have a training class in session right now. And we cover our systems and how to input business and how service works and everything you need to know. Further, we take each one of those elements and we make them available to you on our Brightway University online system so that if there's something you missed or you need a remedial session, it's all right there at your fingertips. As an independent agent, you'll get a briefer set of training by telephone. And then you get support each week as you go through your 6-month program so that we can make sure that you're on track to be earning that fully financed franchise fee and office agent.
That's impressive. You said it that well. Fully financed franchise fee.
Great. Do you charge any broker fees? If so, how much?
Broker fees as far as
to the customer.
Oh, okay, broker fees. No. So this is something that I would say is a differentiator of Brightway, and it's not. We think of it not only as broker fees. We think of it fees to our business partners. And so at Brightway, the kinds of business that we want to write is really standard and preferred business, and we want to deliver more value to the customer than our competition. And so at the end of the day, no, in no office, in no state do we charge fees to consumers to buying policies, to service policies, none of it. Even though we could, we've chosen not to because that doesn't add value to the consumer. We also don't charge fees to support our franchisees. And so that's one of the ways I'd say as a franchise that really, we're the only ones out there that have made that conscious decision and leave that, I would say, that money on the table, reinvest that money back in our franchisees. I don't feel it's the right thing to do to profit off the backs of your business partners. We just don't. And so that's how we do that.
And that's consistent with the win-win philosophy, right? Charging fees to a customer would not be a win for them, and charging fees to our franchisees would not be a win for them.
Yeah.
Great. As a Brightway agent, what lines of business can I sell?
Great. You'll sell personal lines, property casualty. We typically lead with the home, but we also operate in many markets where we lead with the auto. On the marketing side, we'll help you continuously cross-sell your book. We do sell some small commercial. We like to sell commercial as an accommodation to our personal lines customers primarily.
Great.
Great. And in addition to, Leslie, you mentioned cross-sell, what other types of marketing support will I receive?
It's funny, when Michael was just saying we don't charge fees, one of my favorite parts of our days of discovery is when we get to describe our holistic marketing support. Everything from your website to PR in your local market and nationally and in the industry, as well as social media and other support. And when we get done with it, there are participants in the day are almost waiting for us to say, and this is what it costs. And the truth is it costs nothing, right? So it is very holistic marketing support that we have worked hard to put together a comprehensive package that drives business to your door and to your websites.
Great, thank you.
How long does it typically take to open a Brightway location?
As far as timing, I think it also depends on which model that you're, where you're starting. As the independent agent model, it is, what is it, a couple weeks? Couple weeks. As far as office agent, it would be faster because typically in an office agent model, site selection is not obviously as rigorous. There's typically not going to be any build out, things like that, that typically would add time, so it's much faster. On the retail agency, I would say anywhere from, depending on what state you're in, 60 to 90 days open an office for retail agency.
Yeah, and we really view our objective as getting you up and running as fast as possible. It's to your greatest advantage and it's to our greatest advantage. So we will work within any timeline that you have. Okay, we have time for one more question.
Perfect. And we've got one that just came in. It relates back to the Horizons program, but how do you get to earn that 100% of your commission?
Great. So Horizons program with that incremental 15% of new business commission in retail agency is based on the size of your book and the incremental growth period over period. So we publish a matrix. It tells you very specifically where you enter the matrix based on how many policies you've written, where you go to on the rows based on how many policies you transacted that period versus the same period last year, and it nets you a percentage. So it's very transparent, it's very predictable. You will know exactly where you are week to week so that you can look at your producers and say, I need X number of more policies to get to an incremental percentage of new business commission. And that's paid as a separate check because as an agency owner, you may want to do something differently with that money than you do with your routine commission statements. So we pay it as a bonus check at the end of the next quarter.
So one of the things I'll just say about that I think is really fantastic, well, two things. Number one, you're competing against yourself. So rather than us, obviously we have a very large organization, instead of saying, wow, well, I'll never be like that guy who has 25 people in 3 stores, and how will I ever earn? No, you're competing against yourself. It's your growth over your growth. So that's number one. Number two, we view it as a way to really just empower people and invest in people that want to invest in themselves. And it's been just tremendous. And yeah.
I'll add one more thing. It's actually designed to help you, the brand new agency owner. Think about your last year's period growth. You wrote nothing. So the denominator is 0. So it's all gravy from there. So it's absolutely designed to help fast growing agencies and new agency owners like yourself soon. Great.
Well, thank you.
All right. We really thank you for your time today. You're going to receive a follow-up email to this, and it's going to have a link in it to brightwaydifference.com. So we hope you'll come into our franchise sales process so you can start learning more about each of the models and which one is right for you. And then if you, in addition to getting the form, you'll also have brightwaydifference.com to go to read more about us and to complete a form there as well.
And again, I just want to thank everyone for watching. As you go through that process and really dig into Brightway, I couldn't be more proud of our team. And Leslie, thank you, and the whole team for helping us put this on. And I really look forward to meeting each of you here in Jackman for your days of discovery. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.